Sorry we are late, guys, but welcome to the show.
In the background.
We have a very special guest who needs no introduction. He's been on the show once previously, and I've gotten so many good reviews. And what I really liked is that the reviews were, very recent, even though the interview happened months ago. So it's evergreen, and we're going to create some more evergreen content. Welcome to the show, Johnny Chaos.
Hey guys, public service announcement. If you're scrolling through crypto and you come across the spampire, staking protects you from spampires. That is all.
Yeah, that is all. I guess we have the first thing to bring up is the elephant in the room, which is the Hex price.
Look at that.
Look at that chart. Now, the last time you were on, and this is your iconic saying, was those who wait for a penny will buy at a nickel. And we were at about 2. We dropped to like 1.75. And now today, how befitting, we have surpassed the 5-cent mark. What are your thoughts on that?
Pull up the original tweet. I sent it to your tweet box.
Tweet box. All right. So
I actually said that in October.
Where are we?
And what's funny about it is I actually had somebody troll me and post it because we went down to 1.7 cents. And they're like, look at you were wrong. Was I? Or was I just early? There's an original in your inbox.
What was the original?
The original. Yeah, that is the if you click it, it is the if you click it, there is the original that was in October.
Yeah, this is October 25th, 2022. Yep. So what are your thoughts on that? I guess just elaborate.
Well, first of all, I don't think we should be as low as we are. We're so freaking undervalued. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the reason that happened, and everybody likes to say, oh, we're correlated. Oh, we're uncorrelated. We're correlated. We're correlated. The reason we are is because you had all of these different options with a very small community, and that money was distributed in multiple different directions. People wanted to try new things. Even within waiting for 11K and pray, people pulled their money out of the market thinking that it was going to crash, in a way creating the crash because they pulled their money out of the market thinking that it was going to crash. It became a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then, you have people that are waiting to purchase Pulse with their dry powder because they think Pulse and Pulsex are going to perform better because there's been lots of conversations on which is going to perform better. And that's because nobody understands routing and ratios. So, of course, they're going to think the newer thing is going to perform better. We've had that conversation in the community where we say the newer things are more likely to perform, and then everybody's taken that to a literal point where they think anything new is going to outperform the old. So we've got a lot of this money. There's actually $32 million sitting on the sidelines that was pulled out of the Hex economy that's still in the hands of Hexicans right now, trying to figure out what they want to do with it. And that's why the price is down where it is. Has nothing to do with overall markets, has nothing to do with anything. There's only a very, very small, finite amount of Hex that is actually circulating. Everybody likes to think about market cap, and they want to think about total supply, and they are just counting diamonds in the mine. They're not counting the diamonds that are actually in the case that are available for sale at any given moment. Was that a good ramble?
That was excellent, and there's a lot to unpack. Great follow-up question, and this is something that somebody in the chat asked. I wish I could. I think I wrote down who it was because it was such a good question. Big Vi. Shout out to Big Vi. Basically, you had Richard Hart doubling down on the 11K and pray Bitcoin call. Okay, so a lot of people, because lately it has been tied, and you give your explanations, and then it until it became decorrelated or whatever, and then it's correlated until it's decorrelated. But at the time,
well, let me throw this down for you. If you buy Bitcoin, does Hex go up?
Yes.
If you buy Bitcoin, Hex goes up?
Yeah, because it's tied to Ethereum, which is tied to Hex, right? There's
No,
Hart's
there's
law.
no impact. If Bitcoin, if you sell Bitcoin, does Hex go down?
I mean, yeah, it doesn't. Isn't Hart's law? There's sometimes.
There,
So there
there
were
is
times
no.
that it did, and there were times that it didn't track.
Oh my God. Let me explain something to you. There's this thing called pareidolia. It's where you see shapes in the clouds, right? And you say, look, that looks like a mouse. Look, that looks like an elephant. That's what your brain's doing when you're finding correlations. There is
Okay.
no reason whatsoever for Hex to follow that path. It is not Hart's law. It is not correlated. Its
Okay.
liquidity is provided in USDC.
Okay. So
what makes it correlated is when everybody is selling everything at the same time, whether it's a house, a car, a whatever, a comic book, it doesn't matter. When everybody's selling everything at the same time in a macro market, yes, everything can go down. But Hex has absolutely zero dependency on Bitcoin whatsoever.
okay.
Bitcoin's price can pump. Hex will not fucking move.
Okay.
There are multiple times on the chart you can look at it, but here's the problem. Your
Okay.
brain wants to find similarities. It doesn't want to find the differences. So what it does is it dismisses all the evidence that disproves, and it just focuses on the things that it recognizes. Your brain's programmed to see similarities. It's not programmed to see differences. And that's part of the reason why people can't see Hex, because they just assume it's like any other ERC20 token, when all actuality, it's like most of these ERC20 tokens are cars without engines. Okay. And Hex actually has an engine, but nobody's ever seen one before. So they don't know how to describe it. They don't know how to explain it. They just say, oh, well, it's just an ERC20 token. Put it over there. That's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And because they want to stay with what they're familiar with and what they find similar. So you do this to yourself, and it's a human feature, but there is no real correlation between Bitcoin and Hex at all.
Mm-hmm.
They are completely enclosed ecosystems. If there's a complete earthquake, it'll shake your house and my house, okay? But what's going on in my house and what's going on in your house are two totally different things. The reason Hex is down is because the 11K and pray, okay?
That was the question.
It is.
Can I say the
It
question
is because
then?
of the 11K and pray, because people pulled their money out because they thought that Hex had to go the direction that Bitcoin did. That's what caused that. They thought that it had to because they were under that belief. In the same way, people pulled their money out of Hex to buy other coins. They pulled their money out of Hex to wait for Pulsechain, because there are some people out there that still believe that they're going to buy Pulse at a fraction, or Pulse Hex at a fraction of the price of Hex. They believe that in their head. Their money they pulled out shows me that they believe that. Okay? They're wrong. They're going to get screwed, because the only way to get Pulse Hex for cheap is to have Hex now. It's going to be at a premium, not at a discount. Everybody wants the cheaper, more efficient thing. They want the best upgraded version of the thing. And because of the network that it's going to be running on, it's going to be the new improved model. You're not going to get a discount on the next iPhone 25 or whatever. It's going to be sold at a premium. Your old one is not going to be worth as much. Now, here's the thing. There is a reason why that can be preserved, because I don't want people thinking, oh, well, I got to dump my ETH and I got to go over to here. That doesn't work that way either, because there's a thing called liquidity pools and routing. And this is so new. People don't understand it. People don't understand it because it's new. The X times Y equals K automated market maker has revolutionized everything. It has totally freaking changed the game in ways that you can't even imagine. It's no longer an order book with buys, sells, and bids. This is actually an in-between market that is consistent and is balanced. Okay? There's always a buy. There's always an order. All right. On top of that, you have these additional bot layers. Okay. And on top of that, you've got these limit orders. Okay. So you start out with a solid, consistent pool to start with, and then you have all these other features that are added around it. As when a centralized exchange, the orders can be spoofed, the orders can be pulled, and you cannot get a true account of what is the actual slippage and what is the actual availability. We have transparency in ways that we've never had before, and people don't even know what the hell they're looking at, and they're still playing checkers when we moved on to chess.
Wow. So I had like a lot of questions I prepared, and then you just answer all of them before I could even ask. So I guess I don't know where to take this, but I guess the question. So the 11K doubling down by the Hex conference was a bit of a mistake. It's fair.
As far as marketing purposes,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was, because there are a lot of people that are hanging on to Richard's every word. And by the way, Richard corrected himself. He did say, maybe we get 15K because they print too much money. I don't know.
But he said 11K at way later, like at the Bitcoin conference. So
The point being is it
at the
gets a
Hex
lot of
conference.
attention. That's
Mhm.
what it does. And it
Okay.
is still possible that it could happen. Here's why it can still happen. 11K can actually still happen. You know what else can happen?
Johnny,
Hex
you're
cannot
Johnny.
move.
Okay, now they're gonna pull it again.
Let me tell you what can happen. Hex can sit there like it never even happened, like this solid structure in the middle of a freaking earthquake where the whole world is falling apart. You know why? Because there is a limited amount of availability. There is only so much Hex on the market that can be sold. Right now in the liquidity pool, I think there's about 64 million that you can buy if you were to click the buy button right now. And because of the X times Y equals K, you can't buy that 64 million. You could have $1 billion and you cannot click buy and buy that 64 million because a certain amount of that reserve gets held back and then it just multiplies. You cannot buy the last coin out of a liquidity pool. It just splits in sections and goes up in price. That's how it works. That's what an automated market maker does. Just because there is 64 million available Hex doesn't mean you can actually buy it. If it was on an exchange, you'd be able to buy it at X price point, right? Because it's listed, that is available at this price. But with the liquidity pools, it's constantly multiplying. It becomes exponentially more, right? And I'll tell you something else. It's not just the hexagons that have pulled their money out of the market that people don't understand. There is over $100 billion. Listen, billion, $100 billion in stable coins. That is real market cap because those are real stable coins. You know what they're waiting for? The candles to turn green. That money also has not left the crypto space. It just stabled up. It's 2 clicks away from re-entering the space when the markets turn bullish. Do you understand how quickly you're going to get left at the bus station if you're not acting before that money says, hey, our stables are not doing nothing here. Let's put it into an appreciating asset. All in. That's why the pumps are way harder than the dumps. It took us a year to get down here through sacrifice phases, through saving on the sidelines for Pulse, through people thinking that they're going to get cheap Hex on a different chain. Through all of these different mythologies, people have pulled their money out. Vampires, yeah, we got that too. Spampires. I like spampires. Spampires. Spampire. So all of these different things that have happened in Hex. Did Bitcoin have all these sacrifice phases?
No.
Did Bitcoin have all these other projects to choose from to donate to? Did Bitcoin have a movie to fund? Did Bitcoin have a $1 million NASCAR just thrown out there? You know, is Bitcoin sending flyers to everybody's home? Is Bitcoin having all these elaborate events, right? That we've had. We have meetups like all the damn time, right? We have spent a lot of that money back into reinvesting, okay? And we have also dispersed a lot of that money for different options. There are people that are buying into this. If it's newer, it's going to do better. It's automatically going to do better. And the actuality of things is so rarely does something come along that actually does what it's even supposed to do in this crypto space, that it's a phenomenon to actually find something that does. And to think that something new is going to come along and replace your diamond that you're holding, you're trading your diamonds for magic beans.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Wait, so that's actually funny.
Go climb your beanstalk. There's another one that fits in there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
about the new thing, and I coined it the novelty metric. That's the big mistake people make. They think something's going to be great because it's new. It's not true. So, and obviously you said this, but I guess I like the way I phrased it, where I said the reason why people think that is because they look at an asset that's already had hundreds and thousands of X's, and then obviously, yeah, the first cycle is going to do better than the second. But most things don't do hundreds of X's. Like, so it's only those few that do that are going to outperform in their first cycle in comparison to their second and third. But the reality
Hex is
is
not the
like
standard. Hex is the
99%,
anomaly.
exactly 99% of them are not. So their first cycle are, statistically speaking, very, very, very low probability of outperforming Hex even in its third or fourth cycle. And the same could be said about Bitcoin and Ethereum, those rarities. But I wanted to double pin you on the 11K. You're saying it's going to go to 11K Bitcoin. I say it's not, and I want to tell you the reasons.
I said that it could.
You said it could. You said it could. So, my bad. So I wanted to say the reasons why I think it will not. And first of all, Richard Hart says that, and I want to see obviously your reaction. So Richard Hart says that the reason why is because last cycle it dipped 85%. This cycle it has to dip 85%. But the reality is that last cycle bottom to top was like 100x, and now we're a 17x. So I think it would be befitting to dump less as well. So that's one. I could give you the other ones, or you could knock that down, whichever one you prefer.
Bitcoin is highly centralized. It's controlled by large entities. Any one of those people could have a bad day. We've got a lot of coins that are being held by litigation. There are so many black swans that could still, because centralized exchanges control the majority of Bitcoin, which they do, because even those wallets that own it leave their freaking coins on exchanges. Okay. So, you got to understand, there is a very important reason why I try to explain to people that Hex isn't correlated, because it isn't linked to the centralized exchanges. It isn't linked to those VC entities. Okay. They're not participating in Hex. All right. And that's why things can happen in either ecosystem that do not affect the other. They're two different worlds. Okay. And yes, like I said, if there's a giant earthquake, it shakes everybody's house. But they are two different enclosed ecosystems. And I don't trust Bitcoin because I remember the 2018 BART patterns. I remember the Darth Maul candles, the liquidate leverage positions. I remember all those patterns, and I haven't seen those yet. And those patterns are specifically the institutions extracting value out of Bitcoin, which I haven't seen them do on that level. Okay. They print a bunch of Tether. They buy up a bunch of Bitcoin with that Tether. After they long their position, they extract that value. They then take that value and short that position, and then they sell it down on the market. And retail is the one that suffers for it. So, because there is no, that is their closed system. They can do whatever the hell they want. So I don't trust Bitcoin. Bitcoin was great when it wasn't institutionalized. But since everybody was begging for the institutions to come, well, you get what you get.
Well, I'll say about that, maybe I could answer that by saying that point, there was a lot less liquidity. So it was a lot easier to play those games. Maybe this time it's not really so possible.
But they have the liquidity. That's where you got to understand the liquidity and the routing of the games. Look, okay. Let me explain how the VCs play this game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why did FTX coin dump? Because they controlled the available supply that was on the market, and they were able to buy their own coin They use their coin as saying, hey, our coin is worth this much. Can we borrow some money? And Binance is doing the same thing with the BNB coin. They own 99.25% of all the supply. That is why the price is stable. But it's stable because no regular person actually owns any. When they sell, they just buy their own coin back, increase their holdings. But what they do is they're able to say, I've got this coin that has this really high market cap. Can I borrow some money? So they're using it as a tool, as leverage to borrow money and not really selling coins. So the coin holds its value because there aren't any circulating. Not really. So this is the kind of game that they play. If Binance were to sell their own coins to the market, that's when the price goes down. But I don't think there's really any buyers for it. I don't really think there are many buyers for a $300 coin that is as centralized as Binance is. People might use it for their trading fees or whatever, but what it shows is the top 100 holders own 99.25% of it. Yet everybody wants to point at Hex and say it's too centralized. Guess what? Top 500 wallets in Hex own 70%. By the way, the top 500 wallets, not all of them are OA. Telling you that right now.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said. I guess just maybe okay. With regard to the centralization and BNB, but Bitcoin. Another thing is like, it's first of all, so you said the 4-year cycle's on, and if we have a local low, which means lower than 15,500, that breaks the 4-year cycle, and it would be the longest top to bottom in Bitcoin history. Another thing is that basically you have all this bad news, like the Voyager bankruptcy. Digital Currency Group, was kind of like hanging over everyone like I forget what the analogy is, but like something that's going to drop on everyone's head,
Black Swan.
A black swan, and nobody's selling. So I feel like we've kind of gotten to that point where if you would have sold on bad news, if you're the kind of person holding Bitcoin that would sell on bad news, you would have sold it already. And we're kind of at that point where it's like hardcore
same situation
holders.
as like with Binance, where the institutions own the majority of Bitcoin, and it's time to pump the price again.
Okay, so you believe the bottom's in too. We're not getting 11K.
No, I believe I believe we're in disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're in the disbelief phase where it's going to be it's natural to go. See, the problem is, like I said, there are 2,000 wallets in Bitcoin that could just smash the price.
Yeah.
There are 2,000 wallets. People are like, oh, but Richard can smash the price. Yeah, you got one dude that's proud of his own.
That everybody knows who it is.
Right?
That everybody knows who it is.
Yeah. He's not going to smash his own statue. He's not going to smash his own monument of fame here. Mm-hmm. He wants to point at it and go, hey, everybody, look what I built. Isn't it awesome? He's not going to smash his own stuff. But in Bitcoin, there are 2,000 wallets that can drive that price below $1,000. 2,000 variables that can drive that price below $1,000. And you know what? Guess what? Hex doesn't have to move if it does. You think it does because that's the way things have always been. You know what innovation is? You know why people can't see innovation? Because innovation is a change in the way things have always been done. You can't recognize it because your brain is programmed to see similarities. People cannot spot innovation until it's thrown in their face. They cannot spot it. It goes by you because you're used to, it's like when you're driving down the road, okay? You forget from point A to point B. You remember leaving your house. You remember arriving. But all of a sudden, you kind of blank out what happened on the way, right? Well, what happens if a tree fell in the middle of the road? You probably hit it. You know why? Because you're zoning out. Because this is the way it's always been. You get comfortable with this level of taking your past knowns. But what is innovation? Unknowns. It's things that haven't been done yet. Innovation is improvements, changes. We hate change. Our bodies go through a great extent to keep us from changing. If you try to lose weight, you can't. Why? Your body doesn't want to change. You try to build muscle, it's hard. Why? Because your body doesn't like change. Everything about the human programming is designed to be change resistant. So when change comes along, it's no freaking wonder we say, no, it's always been that way. It's never going to change. That's how we're programmed. And you got to fight against that. You will never see innovation. And what drives me crazy about this is that when the people do see innovation, they make that the standard. They say, oh, everything has changed now. Everything from here after was going to be changed just like that. Oh, Richard designed a coin to pump. Everybody that designs a coin now is designing their coin to pump. No, not everybody has the intent. Not everybody has the same design. Hex is not the standard. It is the anomaly. And I don't know how to express that to people so that they understand that these things are very, very rare. Very, very, very rare. The reason you don't get big innovation changes or improvements is because people do try to stay with what they've known. This is the way it's always been. This seems to work. So like in our industry, in crypto industry, people are rewarded for drawing pictures, right? And selling their pictures as stick figures. They don't build portraits here. Why? Because they're used to selling stick figures. If they can get away with stick figures, why would you waste the time painting a portrait? Why would you put all that effort in painting a portrait? There's only one reason to do that. You have to have somebody that wants to paint that portrait to go, I did that. This is me. You see their shit over there? That's garbage. You see this here? This is me. I did this. You see how much better this is than theirs? I did this. That's what you need. You need somebody that comes along and wants to be the best. You want somebody that has the ego, the tenacity, the goal to be the best. People don't get to be the best by drawing stick figures. They get to be the best by building the best, by trying the hardest, by putting in the most amount of effort. Not mediocrity, meritocracy. You can get by drawing stick figures in crypto space, but you will never be successful if that's as far as you're going to push it. And the time of stick figures has passed. Now people have to start innovating, and others will innovate. Others will innovate. They haven't up to this point. But Ethereum fees will come down because when Pulse is made, they will have to come down. You have to have alternatives for people to go to so that they can see the difference. If they can't see the difference and it's not clear to them, things will just flatline. As Richard says, everything else is Hex is
A lot of well said things. I like how you were talking about the tenacity and putting in the time. So we had Richard is working 2 years, over 2 years for Pulsechain. It took Hex 2 years. And then you have these people that just like come out of nowhere, and many of them are anonymous, and they're like, no expectations. We're building the Pulse this, Pulse that, which they, get together or in a matter of months or weeks. What's your take on that? What's the direction of what direction are these projects going to go? And yeah.
What do you think? I think the direction of these projects are going to go.
And why?
The why is very simple, because it's still stick figures. They're coming up with the quickest solution possible to get something to in front of you to make that decision. I know what a pressure sale is, right? I've worked sales. I know how you dangle the shiny object in front of people and get them to buy into it. So I'm immune. I'm absolutely immune.
Yeah.
Look, why are you here? Ask yourself, why are you here? You want to be independently wealthy. You want to earn money, not lose money. That's why you're here. You want to make gains. Or do you want to gamble? What's your choice? There's a difference between gambling and saving. The problem is crypto has always been gambling. What do I mean by that? Everybody wants to be all in or all out of their position, right? And they
Yes.
want one lump sum gain. And it's gambling. What is saving? Saving is where you add to your pile. You're just adding to your pile. You're not taking it out. You're not loaning it out. You're not doing anything. Saving is adding to your pile. This is a very foreign concept to everybody because saving was no longer incentivized by the banking because you can't earn enough percentage point to even compensate for the inflation. So because of this, saving has gone to the wayside. People don't think about saving. Let me explain the basic common principle of saving. You got a jar in your room. Every time you break $1, you put your change in it. That's what's saving. Anyone got audio? Is my audio bad?
No, you're good. You're good. He just said he fixed it.
So you're adding to your pile. What does Hex allow you to do? It allows you every day you are adding to your pile of Hex. That's saving. That is not gambling. I'm not looking for a gamble. If I want to go gamble, I'll take $100 and I'll go to the casino. What Hex is for me, it's a savings account. Now, how many savings accounts do I freaking need? How many savings accounts do you have in a real world? How many jars do you have in your real room? How many piggy banks? How many do you actually need? If you got a hammer, you can drive a nail. You don't need to go out and buy another hammer. So be honest with yourself about what you are doing. Are you trying to gamble or are you trying to save? Because there is no better tool out there to save than Hex. And I don't care what they come up with. There is no better tool to save than Hex right now. Okay? Everything else is another speculative asset. And speculative asset means you are making a bet. You are gambling. You are betting that something is going to outdo Hex. Okay? But you know what? A go-kart ain't beating a Lamborghini. Okay? The go-kart ain't beating a Lamborghini no matter how hard you try, how quick you get it out the door, or how cool you make it look. It's not going to win. And these things come along so rarely. And I explained why. Because nobody tries. You know? And I'll tell you what. Look, you need to spot this right now. When people start talking about exit liquidity and they start funding Hex after they've came into the community, and they're talking about exit liquidity, that's projection, guys. They're telling you their character. That is how they think, and they're projecting it onto Hex, and they are telling you how they are going to manage their coin. Telling you. They're spelling it right out there for you. If you fall for it, that's your problem. Because they just told you what kind of person they are. Let me tell you another one. We had this guy, Knightley. He was the biggest influencer we had. He had a following. He had a name. He dumped 150 million Hex on everybody's head and bragged about it. And then he wanted everybody to come over and join his coin. He literally dumped on your head and then said, come join my coin. Why would you go with him? He told you what he was going to do. He told you what kind of person he was, but you went anyway. Why? Because you thought, oh, this guy's improving on the idea. No, people don't improve on Hex. You know why they don't improve on Hex? Because they're doing it for the sake of profit, not glory. They're trying to put themselves at the top of the food chain. They're trying to put themselves in control. The reason why they have a problem with the OA is because they want to be the OA. They know what they would do with the money if they had it. They don't have the ability to do with it what somebody else that doesn't need it can do because they don't have the financial backing to leave it set there and do what it's supposed to do. You know?
Yeah.
That's where the real problem comes in. And it's the intent. People are not building something so other people can be financially free, self-sovereign, run their own code, take their own responsibilities. No, they do it because they want your follow, they want your attention, and they want you to put them at the top of the food chain. They want you to take your economic energy, invest in them so that they can take it. That's what they want. They don't want you to build. They don't want you to win. They want to be in a higher power position. They don't want to earn their position. They want to skip that and just put themselves at the top of the food chain and think that they're already prepared to handle that position. I got news for you. A lot of you are not prepared to be rich yet.
Oh, yeah.
You're not. You spend a lot of time thinking about, if I get rich, what I'm going to do. But when you actually get there, it's a different story. Because when you get there, you need to start thinking about, how do I preserve this? Not how do I gamble it and piss it away or lose it. You need to start thinking about how to preserve it so that you don't end up in the same mess that you were originally, right? And people plan for failure. They don't plan for success. Start planning for success.
Well, that's why the staking ladder is so important.
If you honor it, because you can still tap out.
It's hard not to. It's hard to, though.
But they're gonna.
Some people will, yeah.
As soon as we hit $1, 80% of those 555 stakes are gone, man.
You think so?
80% of those 555 stakes are gone at $1. And you know what's going to happen? We're going to dip. We're going to dip hard, and we're going to go up and above again, beyond where we would even think about going. It's not even fathomable to talk about what. Look, think about this.
Tell me how rich I'm going to get.
Think about this. Well, it depends on how long you stick around and what
I got 555s. I got 5555s.
What your level of tolerance is, how you treat the price. How you treat the price is important. This is why I teach people staking and limits. You know, because if you don't make limits, you're hurting your own price. You're saying, yeah, I got all these diamonds here. Just give me $1. Here, take them. Out of here, take them. That's what you're doing, right? You're not valuing what you hold because you've got abundance. That's the abundancy mindset. You know, if you got a bag of Starbursts, right? And your friends come up, oh yeah, sure, take 5, take 10, take whatever. You know, you'll start handing out your Starbursts. You get down to your last 4, and then somebody comes up and says, can I have one? You're kind of like, all right, I'll give you 1. That leaves me with 3. Somebody else comes up. You're like, it's harder to give it away, right? Because you're down to your last couple. But when you're in abundance and you have 10 million, oh, sure, man. That's like $10. That's like giving you $1. It's okay. Here, let me see. I got, what do I got here? All right, I got $10 here. Take $1. Go ahead. It's okay. You don't value it. You have to learn to value what it is that you have. Not everybody's in your situation, right? You know, if there was a primitive tribe, right, and they had a river that was flowing down and it was full of diamonds, people would be like, hey, can I take one of those home? You'd be like, yeah, sure. Go ahead, take one of those home. Doesn't mean anything to me. We have plenty. You have to get out of this mindset because what you have is actually valuable. What happens is the raiders come, they kill your village, and they steal all your diamonds and they take them away, even after you gave them one. That's what happens. So you need to value what you hold. Have to. If you don't value it, no one's going to value it. If you're not willing to put your own money behind it and buy more, what makes you think somebody else is going to? If you love it and won't buy it, who do you expect to buy it?
Yeah, those are some very, very good points. And that is why in the first, the immature assets have such volatility, because the people that get in the beginning, there's a high concentration of people that aren't good at delaying gratification. They don't know what they're holding, and they have such a big piece of the pie. They have to get out, and it has to go to people. And the people that buy it up, you know, and the people that don't sell are those people that are good at valuing things and delaying gratification. And that's why it doesn't crash as much, because inevitably the biggest pieces of the pie, that, you know, the biggest sell pressure ends up in the hands of people that, like you said, are able to value what they own, you know, and not, you know, treat it well. They treat it well, and the price treats them well, right?
Let's see here. Video file, share screen, slides. Do I have to make a slide? How do I make slides?
No, you could just press, you want slides? You just press share screen, and then
Yeah, I was trying to pull that thing up where the Greg guy sold his Bitcoin for 30 cents. I
Yeah.
was trying to pull that up. See, this is what people don't understand. Okay. First of all, market cap's an arbitrary number. We learned this. Okay. Most people have not learned or accepted this yet. But when they do, think of a reason why Hex, with the amount of people that we have right now, the amount of personalities, the amount of websites, the amount of meetups, the amount of stickers, the amount of TikTok, the new technology, the more viral we are today than we ever were when Bitcoin came out. There's a picture of Andreas Antonopoulos talking to an empty room when Bitcoin was at $100. We don't have that now with Hex at 5 cents. We have tons of people talking and screaming about it. Yet here we are at 5 cents. Now, a little of this has to do with perception of value, but we'll get to that later. But the point that I'm making here is if you take away the vanity metric of market cap, which is an arbitrary, unachievable number, because what happens is you can't sell all of the coins at current suggested retail value because the price moves, and you can't buy all the available supply at current suggested retail value because the price moves up. So it's not an achievable number. It's basically just this arbitrary range. Okay. But if you don't believe in market cap, which Bitcoin breaks every 4 years anyway, if you don't believe in market cap being a cap, why can Hex not do just as well as Bitcoin? Being the newer technology, being a productive store of value, being that it bypasses the centralization that everybody got into Bitcoin to avoid to begin with, why can't Hex just follow in its footsteps? Was Bitcoin a penny once? Yeah. Was Bitcoin 4 cents once, 5 cents once? Yeah. Nobody cared about Bitcoin until it got way up there into the thousands.
True.
Everybody thought it was bullshit. Does that sound familiar? Everybody thinks we're full of shit right now.
Well, so that's the problem, though. First of all, I agree with everything you say, and I think it can do better because not only, it has superior game theory, it has superior community.
We're reaching more people too.
It's immense, but the problem is that people see the gatekeeping of Hex, and then like they go to these new coins, and obviously Hexicans don't like it, and for justifiable reasons, like very, very for legitimate reasons, obviously. But then everyone says, "Oh, aha! Look, people are saying bad things about this coin, and people are saying bad things about Hex. So it must be that this coin's also going to do 10,000x."
Yeah, there's that too. There's a difference. These other coins, I just don't care. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I just don't care. I found my hammer. I found my piggy bank. I really just don't care. That's it. It's not I hate. What I hate is the fact that people don't understand what an opportunity they've given up to chase these other shiny objects. What frustrates me is that I've seen people pull their money out of Hex and then go, see, I told you it was going to go down. Well, no shit. You guys made that happen, right? I know there are people right now waiting to buy Pulse and buy Pulse X because they think that it's going to go up more. And Richard just freaking told you the utility is not the feature that makes price go up. Okay? Ethereum does not cost as much as a Bitcoin still. What does cost more? The store of value. What is Hex? Hex is the store of value, and Hex will be the premium store of value on the new network. Okay? So you got to remember that the reason Pulse was designed to begin with was to enhance Hex and save Hexicans. That's what it was being built for originally. All this other stuff is marketing. Okay? Marketing and memes. It brings attention. It gets people to use it. But the liquidity, I'm telling you, is going to be set up to benefit Hex. If you can open up a new store to promote your products and set the prices where you wanted them, wouldn't you do that? Wouldn't you do that? If you could do that for absolutely free because you already hold a majority of the coins. I really don't want to get into this because
we just got that means you just got into it.
I don't want to get into this because look, there are going to be a lot of really pissed off people because Richard's about to pull off something that they could never even imagine doing. Okay. He is about to pull off the coolest freaking thing ever based on mathematics. There is no way Hex fails.
Okay, you have to get into
and
that.
He has all the tools that he needs to do it.
Can I press you to get into it?
Captain wants me to do this too. He wanted to drag me on his show. So utility is inversely proportional to number go up. It's true. It is actually true because when you use something, you're selling it and the price goes down, right? So if you leave it set and hold it, the price goes up because the availability becomes less. It's actually interesting how that works. Pull up apex.win. Charts. Now this is Testnet. Okay, this is Testnet. Now, but if you look, how many pulls does 1 hex equal?
1 hex equals 245 PLS.
So if pulse moves up a penny according to this chart, how much does hex move up?
245.
There you go. Who's setting the pools?
The OA.
There you go. If that pool is deep and there's not enough coins to add to one side to double one side, you cannot move that ratio. So if 1 hex is worth 245 pulse goes up a penny, hex goes up how much?
Hex
goes up $2.45 if pulse moves a penny. If the liquidity pools are deep and you can't change the ratio. Now, I don't know how deep the pools are going to be, but the point is 1 hex is worth a lot of pulse. Pulse will not be able to move without pushing hex up by some level of some multiple. So if you're betting on the sidelines, thinking that you're going to buy pulse and you're going to dump it because it's going to move faster and harder than hex, you're wrong, because hex already is going to start at a multiple of whatever pulse is going to be from day 1. There, over.
Wow. Okay. That is getting clipped. That much I can tell you, but very well said. So you're saying even in first cycle, very likely hex outperforms pulse and pulse X.
I'm saying it is like Hart's
mathematically,
law.
Yeah.
It's Hart's law. It's a train. One car cannot move without moving the other car forward based on the liquidity in the pools. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. So
everything is going to have a ratio to Pulse instead of Ethereum. Pulse will have a ratio to USDC. Okay? That pool will probably be small. All right? That allows the price to pump hard, but since everything else has a relationship to Pulse, because Pulse moves up in price, so does everything paired with it.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Deep. Good stuff. So is it even worthwhile? Because everybody wants in your opinion, is it even worthwhile to get Pulse or PulseX? Because everybody wants Pulse. They think it's the new thing. Are they going to be happy
it would be
with
good.
Pulse?
You're going to need Pulse to do your transactions, but it's the dumb pipe. It is the dumb pipe.
Yeah.
That's the part people don't get. It is the dumb pipe. And the exchange has buy and burn. Well, everyone's like, oh, but the buy and burn's going to make it go up. Oh, yeah? Now you pair Hex with it. How many Pulse X is Hex worth? 500? One Hex is worth 500. So what happens if there's a buy and burn in Pulse Hex and it's 500 Hex? Hex gets the benefit of the buy and burn.
Yeah, because the ratio comparison to Hex now it takes, yeah. That is brilliant. Oh, makes me rethink everything.
It's a zero cost way of pumping your own coin.
Yeah.
It's a zero cost way of pumping your own coin.
And I've been saying Hex is king, by the way. I haven't, said it as deep as you, but I've been saying Hex is king. Even let's say Pulse and PulseX outperform, you're not catching the bottom and top. You're probably going to do something stupid like everyone does, especially if you're a pleb.
I'm telling you, if the liquidity is set up properly, it's not possible for them to outperform.
Yeah.
It's like Unisocks. Unisocks are not worth $40,000. Why were they worth $40,000? Because they were paired up with X amount of ETH that went up in value. So then guess what? Because they could be traded for X amount of ETH, they were also that value.
Yeah.
Richard has gone over this extensively and tried to explain to people the power of liquidity bonding, why he called it Hart's Law to begin with. He has been telling you the whole damn time what he's going to go do, and he's just watching people pull their money out of Hex and sit on the sidelines and he's just sitting there going, what the fuck? You know what? He did expect it to be the bottom. He didn't see these whales deciding that they were going to pull money out, thinking they were going to wait on the sidelines. When he said, I think Hex could have already bottomed, he thought that. He didn't see these random people going, oh, I just do dumb things. But the problem is we've got a lot of dumb people in large positions that have no concept. They're not dumb. They're playing the game that they're familiar with, and it's the only game that they know, and they don't realize that the rules have changed. So they're still trying to bet on a winning horse. They don't see what's coming. They do not see what's coming.
Yeah. And
Hex is going to melt. Face it.
So I would want to run this by you also. So I tagged you on this soundbite because I wanted to hear what you said when I posted on Twitter. But basically, when you look at a chart, of a crypto that does well, it still has those 90% corrections, 95, 97% corrections along the way, especially in its early years. So
I don't think we would have went down lower than 70% if it were not for all the sacrifice phases, all the new coins and add-ons. Okay, look, I see people all the time. Oh, you're going to earn more yield if you move it over here, but if you put it in here, it's like this. It's a Rube Goldberg machine. Everybody's creating all these contraptions to try to earn more yield, and when it comes down to it, you're going to have less of a bag at the end.
Yeah, no. So
you're going to go through the whole process.
So what I wanted to say was, normally, those get the dumb people out. And you say not a lot of dumb people. I disagree. I think there are a lot of dumb people, okay? But there are also a lot of smart people. You
don't have to be very smart to click a button and click buy and sell. You do have to understand liquidity and set limits and to understand availability and to understand when the liquidity gets low, how hard the price can pump, and to understand that centralized exchanges and dexes are not the same.
Yeah.
And what has changed? So they're playing old games. They're playing the checkers. They're not playing the chess now. They're playing the checkers.
Yeah, no. So let me get this question out. So this statement. So basically, you had with Hex. The thing is, so there's always that 90%, whatever, most cryptos, and everyone thinks, oh yeah, it gets everyone out, and then there's that uncertainty that it's never going to come back. The thing about Hex is people have a lot of content of Richard Hart, who's a really smart guy, and he tells everyone, it drops 90%. It drops 90%. Volatility is the price you pay. So everyone was ready for it. And everyone thought, oh yeah, it's so easy. I'm just gonna, buy. I'm just gonna buy that dip, and I'm gonna get rich. But there's always a narrative that comes in that throws you off. And in the case of Hex, it was these new tokens coming out, because if it wasn't, then there would be no, correction, because there would be no like opportunity for people to sell the bottom. So in the case of Hex, instead of the opportunity being the FUD, being that Richard educates everyone, the opportunity came in like some sort of curveball of the shiny object opportunity. Like that was the Hex opportunity to sell the bottom.
Yeah. So look, people are going to degen. It's what it is. And you know what? I don't care what you own. I don't care what you own. What bothers me is when I see people, because I watch the chain analysis. I watch people make, Silver does a lot where he shows these trade cards that think they're winning. And these are the same people that are bragging, oh, well, I sold at 5 cents and I bought back at 1.7. I did just fine. Good for you. And you probably sold the top, and that's what created that price that you bought back in at.
Yeah.
Right? You probably created that catastrophe. Now, since you did that as an extraction person and you had a large position, how many people did you screw? Because they followed right behind you and they've been waiting for that penny this whole damn time, and now they're buying back at 5 cents. I don't like that. You don't have to function as an extraction. We can all win. We don't have to dump on each other's heads and devalue the thing that we hold. We don't have to play that way, but that's how the crypto space likes to play. And these things are always going to happen. But so I'm telling you, I have to make an amendment to something that I said, because immediately people are going to think Ethereum on Hex is going to die. And I'm telling you, it's not.
Okay.
It's not. I'm actually going to tell you it's going to also benefit from all the new functions on Pulse and PulseX. Why? Because the liquidity most likely will be paired 1-to-1, and you will not be able to change it. You don't have enough coins. Nobody has enough coins. The OA can set a liquidity bonding of 1-to-1 Hex to wrapped Ethereum Hex, and you will not have enough coins to change it to 2-to-1 ratio. In order to change it to a 2-to-1 ratio, you have to deposit the same number of coins on one side to change it from a 1-to-1 to 2-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
You don't have enough coins to do that. If the OA wants to make one hex, and he wants no cheap hex on any chain, that's what's going to happen. And if you shouldn't have to dump your Ethereum Hex at all. You should be able to just wrap it, send it over, and trade it for your PulseX with never selling it. So that doesn't decrease the value of it on the Ethereum chain at all. That just allows you to use it as a universal conduit to move it across the chain.
So you're saying don't sell it. You're first of all saying there's going to be parity, just so everyone understands. Like
there's going to be
parity because the OA is going to pair. Yeah, because the OA controls too much of a percentage of the liquidity. To make it that no one could affect the So all those idiots that say, "Why is he own 90%?"
Yeah, it's a hidden feature of the OA that nobody wants to hear about, because they're just going to say he can't do that. Yes, he can. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
Yes, he can. So sorry to tell you this, but that's how you create a universal conduit between chains, allowing you not to have to sell Hex. It allows the OA to remove Hex from both chains without selling a single coin. Okay. It creates a stable liquidity pair that anybody can use and bond and earn Hex on both chains by providing liquidity and adding to that stable pool. That pool is stable, so there will be no impermanent loss. It will be at a less efficient level of earning Hex on either, staking on either chain.
Yeah,
so that is part of the reason why it will be a large liquidity pool, because it has to dilute it, because Hex has to be the premier store of value. In order to ensure that, you have to make sure that the liquidity pools are large enough that it dilutes people, so everybody that just doesn't throw in for liquidity and actually uses Hex as it's intended to be used, which is staked.
Yeah.
That was a lot. Now...
Yeah, no, it was a lot, and we're gonna clip all these clips make for
the But look, I am not the guy setting up the liquidity pools. Okay? I know what the play is. And I know it costs him nothing to do. And it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Because it's the play. It is the play. Nobody can stop it. And it's a zero cost way of pumping your own coin, basically just by pairing it.
Yeah.
To things that you already have.
And Richard Hart said he doesn't want to see cheap hex on either chain. So
in order to do that, it requires a pool of 1-to-1 ratios so that you have Gresham's law and that you could always trade 1 hex for 1 hex no matter what chain you're on. It will always be 1 hex.
Yeah.
Now, this did not happen with ETHW and ETHFair. And everyone's like, well, Johnny, it didn't happen there. But Richard didn't build a bridge over there. Now, did he?
Yeah.
He told you why it didn't happen over there. He told you perfectly clear, I do not trust those chains. I do not trust those bridges. I do not know if it's worth it to mess with those.
Yeah.
This chain he's building. The tools that he's building on it, he's building. You think he's going to build something he's not going to trust?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And so also for
the whole thing.
And for people who are wondering, like, what if the value of one goes down? There's arbitrage. So if let's say EHEX goes down against PHEX, people will buy EHEX up until it reaches the PHEX price, and then bridge it over and just swap it for a PHEX and then sell that down. So it's gonna
you'll sell your silver coin for your gold coin that are both dollar coins.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a silver coin and a dollar coin, so you'll sell the silver to get the gold.
Yeah, and
it will go back and forth because that's what people will do.
And that's why the price of Bitcoin is the same on every exchange. It's because people take advantage of that opportunity. But you said, I want you to maybe.
That's actually a really good point, because Bitcoin, really, you can only trade it on centralized exchanges. And that is a good example because those centralized exchanges are separate networks, kind of.
Yeah.
Separate entities, right? So what's happening over here is correlated to what's happening over here. And that's actually a kind of a interesting way of thinking about it. I like that.
Oh, thank you. From you, that means a lot.
It that way.
Wow. You just made my day.
He's going to clip that too, and he's going to play it back 120 times. Oh my God.
Oh, Johnny, of course. Yeah. It's the only thing I'm going to clip. But I guess I wanted you to go in maybe on you said not to sell your Pulse X. You said to bridge the Pulse X and trade it for what did you say? You said or not to sell the EHEX. Yeah, bridge it and then trade it for Pulse X. Could you
bridge it, just swap it up and put yourself on the new network?
Why?
You have to. There's no way he's not going to provide that option. Because if Ethereum Hex crashes, every hater and their brother is going to point at the Ethereum side and say, see, we told you Hex was a scam.
Yes,
and
that's a great point.
No way in hell he's going to let that happen. None. Zero. The idea of him letting that happen is zero. Well, how do you stop that? You create an exchange, like a gun buyback, right? It's an exchange. You just trade your one coin for the other coin. Boom, you're on the other network. You don't even have to go back over to Ethereum ever again. You'll be able to trade your way right out and onto the new chain.
Yeah, so I said people would be able to buy Pulse on Ethereum the way they could buy Matic on Uniswap, right? People will be able to buy bridged PLS on Wrapped PLS
Ethereum, yes.
And Wrapped PLSX as well. So that's if anyone was wondering about that. I guess
that's brain melding, is it? For bridges, it gets really screwy because there's wrapped Pulse stuff on ETH also.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess we'd have to go into the upcoming Pulsechain launch. And I guess I don't know if you have a time limit, but if you do, then just let me know in the private chat or let me know now. I don't want to keep you over time.
I just like to do some productive stuff today.
This is productive. Come on. You're saving people from doing something stupid.
But I'm not, man. I'm not. I can scream at the top of my lungs. Nobody cares.
Well, there is a score rate, so some people are going to listen. It might be 1%. Remember Richard Hart's like, y'all don't listen. You don't listen.
Well, look, the what's going to win, which is the better horse, all the excitement. I haven't said anything. I haven't really pushed it because I want people to go ahead and promote the other things. I think it's good to bring attention to the features of these other things. But people don't have an understanding of how liquidity bonding actually works and how everything benefits from it. So when you want to talk about correlation, we were going rounds about Bitcoin correlation. Here is a independent network that really has nothing to do with the rest of crypto. It won't. It will have its own on and off ramps. It could be totally independent. You could have a bull market in in that side, without even messing with Bitcoin
It happened.
anymore.
It happened. It happened.
Yeah. And you will have all of these assets that are correlated together. Maximus, Trio, Lucky, Hedron, Icosa, Pulsex, all of these things are going to move together because they're going to be paired in that system. And you will have correlation. You will be able to spot that correlation because these things will be paired, as where Bitcoin is not paired with Hex, and Hex is not dependent. Bitcoin can go down to 11K and Hex can go up to 10 cents. Seriously.
Yeah.
They have nothing to do with each other. It doesn't matter. You're not getting a penny Hex. Told you were not getting a penny Hex. Everybody wanted to give me shit. In fact, lots of whales got pissed off and tried to give us a penny Hex because they're like, I'm going to show you, Johnny. Thanks. You showed me. Filled my bags. Thanks, dumbass. Guess who was down there with limit orders? Guess where you didn't get past? You didn't get past me.
You're not going to outsmart Johnny Chaos. It's just the way it works. And that's why I say the
intelligence, is like, Richard says it's like horsepower. It's how you apply it.
Yeah.
It's how you apply it, where you want to put it. You can be very smart and do nothing. It doesn't, you're still not going to benefit from it. The smartest man in the world likes to work as a bouncer. So crazy.
It's true. But like, people think that the whales get to move the price. Like, they have power to move the price, but that's not to say that someone else can't step in and move it against them. And then,
there's other whales.
Yeah, exactly. Like, people think like markets, people look at micros and they forget about macros. And when you're analyzing a macro thing, like what makes the price, it's not just one person. Got to look at the big picture.
There's slippage too.
Yeah.
There's slippage too. There's liquidity gaps.
Yeah.
Shooting liquidity gaps is freaking awesome, man. People, because look, say there's 4 whales and they've got 50 million Hex, right?
Yeah.
And they're putting that on the bids, they're putting that in the liquidity. Well, they see the price moving, so they pull that out. They're like, oh shit, I didn't really want to sell it. I'm just trying to hold the price down, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to sell it. Let me pull it out of there. And then let me put it at a higher price point. Well, guess what? They created a liquidity gap because during that time that they removed that liquidity, there was none. So some fat-fingered sales guy comes along and hits the button and hits buy, and there's no liquidity. Except for what? Somebody selling their maxi at $10. Hi. I mean, $30,000 selling a few thousand maxi at $10 a piece. Don't think you can do it now, because I done told people about it, and now you can't get away with that shit. But because of low liquidity conditions, I didn't sell at suggested retail price.
You saw the gap and you went to the top of it?
I sold in the gap. No, I didn't see the gap as it occurred. I set my orders way preemptively ahead of time, and because of the low liquidity conditions, that gap was filled.
Mm-hmm.
So suggested retail value is what the price is. That isn't value. That's suggested retail value according to current liquid positions. People that come along and try to fat finger buy, say they want to dump in, $1 million or even $100,000, right? They want to dump in $100,000 and there's no coins available. You get to set the price. That's the power of limits. If people knew this, there wouldn't be any liquidity gaps because they would already have their orders set in front. So Pulse X is going to allow you to set limits for a year. So you can literally set up your own boutique. You can say, I am going to take 10% out at 10x. I'm going to take out another 10% at 100x. I'm going to take out another 10% at 200x and leave it. If it executes, you get USDC in your wallet. If it doesn't, it sits there until it does. So you can play with your cards on the table and not have to play these silly games.
Mm-hmm.
But people want to play these silly games. They want to click their buttons. They want to be engaged. And you know what? That need to compulsion is exactly what gets you wrecked in Hex. But not just Hex, and crypto in general. That need for compulsion will get you wrecked in crypto.
But I love how there's a way out. There's a way out, like baked into the cake. It's really so beautiful because I would do that. I would do that if not for the staking, like inevitably.
You can set your prices. You can set your prices with that. You know, you can say, look, it's like opening up a store, right? You know how much you need to get out of your product and what you want for it. Just set your price and walk away. It's like a website that you get paid for that you don't have to ship anything. And the order comes in and then the money just goes directly to your wallet.
Yeah.
How cool is that? And you don't have to refresh it every 7 days. Now, in order to catch liquidity gaps, you have to, it doesn't happen often. It's once in a blue moon. And that's if you're the only person that happens to be covering that particular liquidity gap at that particular time. It's like getting struck by lightning. Okay. My brother was able to pull it off too. He got a couple $1,000 out of moving certain coins because he was able to find liquidity gaps. But look, you don't have the time to do that, and it takes skill and it takes ability to do that. You don't necessarily have the time to do that. But what I'm telling you is, what you need to understand is suggested retail value and what you can actually get out of your stuff are two totally different things. And when people are trying to gauge market cap, that's even worse. You're looking at total supply. You're not even looking at available supply. Yeah. Available supply and price.
Well said. Well said. We got 129 watching, so please hit the like and subscribe. I did want to get into the upcoming V3 thing. Is it okay if I show my website? No coin. I promise you, no coin.
Yeah.
No, I just.
So here's the thing. You know how I am because I don't like, the reason I don't like doing these shows and stuff, because I'm the anti-influencer.
Yeah.
You're like the next gen of influencers, and I'm like an anti-influencer. So we have this thing, right? I get it. Not everybody got in early. Not everybody's in the position. You got money to make here. You got bills to pay. I get it. Not everybody's in the position where they can just throw this knowledge out there for free.
Hopefully.
But my thing is, again, I do this. This isn't of benefit to me at all. None of this is benefit to me. I don't like to do it. I wish I could go away. I want you guys to take over.
Go
ahead. Show your website.
No, I just do one-on-ones. Like, people are getting in now and they don't understand Hex, Pulsechain, PulseX, or just crypto in general. So I do tutoring, to try and make a little bit of a living. So if you guys want to go and get a free one-on-one, just go to furufinance.com. And that's I just wanted to say that. But so thank you for letting me do that. I would not do that without your permission.
I got nothing to sell y'all. I don't even have any Hex to sell y'all because nothing significant ends for like 2 years anyway. So I don't have anything significant to sell you. I just, because of the influencers feeding everybody's head full of garbage, pretending to be smart when they're not, talking over people's heads, not actually educating them, just directing them in the directions they wanted to herd them like cattle. That's why I'm here, because it pissed me off. it pissed me off. It pissed me off that I used to think some of these people were actually smart. And then some of them are actually smart and they're just disingenuous.
Yeah.
And disingenuous really sends me raging.
So
I cannot stand a person that will purposely tell you something that is wrong and they know it. They know they're telling you something that's purposefully wrong. It drives me up a freaking wall.
No, so
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'll finish the sentence.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what I wanted to say is I think a big reason why people, go off the reservation, so to speak, and like they start shilling their own coins or whatever, is because basically they have a come up, and it's basically it is, so to speak, like Richard Hart owns a mall and you open up a store in the mall. Like you are. My channel is really me sort of promulgating the messaging of Richard Hart, in my own way, but like the overall principles of, Hex and cryptocurrency, very heavily influenced by him. And like my audience, I was able to get a big audience, relatively big audience, relatively quickly in comparison to, the normal YouTuber because I basically sort of built a stand in his mall. It is based off the no, it is based off the merit and like the legacy. No. So what happens is people start to think that it's really them. It's really them that made them like this popular, but it's not really you. It's not really you. And they have, or they will come to that, I guess, rude awakening that what they've really their come up, so to speak, was it was sort of like it was off the merit of something, and they're part of something a lot bigger than any single person. So I think people start to get arrogant, and I hope that doesn't happen to me. Where people start to think it's all about them, and then they think they're somebody they're not. They start to think they're at that level of Richard Hart when really everything that they've done was
geniuses. It's a Google genius effect, right? So you Google something and you think you're smart because you're able to recite something that you Google. Yeah. Not that it's actually knowledge that you've ever retained, but you're like, Google says, so it's the same kind of thing, right? So you learn more from failures than success. Sometimes you're not ready for instant success. It's overwhelming. I find it overwhelming because I was just having a conversation with my friends on Twitter, and then I turned around and there's 15,000 people standing behind me listening. Talk about stage fright, right? So because in no way, shape, or form did I intend to be a personality in this space. I have no interest in running a channel whatsoever. I tried to delete my Twitter, and I had 20 people calling my phone and giving me texts and asking me if I was okay.
Dude, I was bugging. I was bugging when you deleted it.
I never wanted to do this. I don't understand why people don't understand that, because I'm not someone that wants the attention. I'm a special effects guy, man. I'm used to being behind the scenes. My credit is in my work, not in my appearance, or being present somewhere, right? I'm a very reserved person. I do conventions and trade shows and deal with like 10,000 people. So it's part of my training and my job to be personable and talk to people, but I don't like it. I do it because that was my job. And that's kind of like the least part of my job that I like is all that interaction. I'm actually okay with, being withdrawn into myself and my own thoughts. So, and in fact, for the most part, until I met the Hex community, I didn't think there was really anybody worth talking to, because people are, the majority of people are just really dumb. And you can't have a conversation with a moron. It's just, where are you going to get?
Yeah, no. So it's a great point. It comes back to what Richard said. You guys think you're smart, but you're really just smart enough to be dangerous, and that's why you need someone actually smart to come in.
Right?
It's like you guys think that it's you, it's not you, it's Richard Hart. So you need someone who's you need Johnny or Richard to come and to actually tell you
I'm not
what's going
interested.
on.
I'm not interested in vanity. I'm not interested in social dynamics. I don't have a product to sell anybody. Okay. So I don't have to do the funny clothes. I can pick on Richard for doing the funny clothes because I don't got to do that.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that he does that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't got to do that. All right. I don't have to be controversial. I don't have to be in people's faces. I don't have to be heard. I don't care. Y'all can forget me. It's okay. You know, I don't care. It's really not important to me. What's the reason I do this again is because for evil to succeed, all you need is good men to do nothing, right? Mm-hmm. And I saw like this whole corrupt crypto space got Richard in a corner, and they're just beating on him. They're trying to keep him from doing anything, right? And it's like these guys are the corrupt ones. Man, why they busted on this guy? This guy's like trying to do some shit here, you know? And I saw that and I'm like, no, that's bull, right? And then I learned, you know, I started learning what they didn't know. And I started realizing, wow, you know, this is messed up. A lot of this stuff is messed up. And then you start hearing people repeat the same narratives and the same bullshit over and over again. You're like, no, you know, that ain't right. That ain't right. Mm-hmm. And so I just started saying, that ain't right. And next thing you know, this is where I am. And
because it's the people that don't want to, the people that are capable of, you know, stepping up are usually the people that don't want to. And the reason why there's so many people out there that are you know, saying this BS is because these people are not interested in the truth. They're interested in engagement. They're not really the smart ones out there. It's usually the people that are not putting themselves out there that really know the most, because they know the most, so they don't need a profit off putting themselves out there. And that's why Johnny Chaos is the hero we need, not the hero we deserve.
Just like you gave me shit about TikTok. It's like, dude, I did that 2 years ago, and it's like,
I was right about the TikTok. I'm not giving you the TikTok.
but you made me do my TikTok. You know, I've got my TikTok back up. I deleted that too. I deleted that too. I don't want that. I don't want that attention. I don't want to deal with these trolls coming in my conversation to make themselves feel superior. They got to go, you're dumb, or what about this? It's like, dude, we're in high school. I'm half a century years old, man. I don't give a shit what you gotta say.
It's actually interesting you say that, and because I've been putting up TikToks, I've been getting I got like 60K views in the last 3 days, just bashing XRP, and then saying like, then go to Hex, because like I realized the XRP is a very engaging, viral juggernaut community.
Yeah, but I didn't get rich and successful to, you know, I didn't get rich and successful to fight with people that I don't give a shit about their opinions. I really don't care.
No.
And I'll get these people even on Twitter, you know, they'll show up and they're like, I got him. I said, no, you didn't, because I don't care. You're unimportant to me from here on. I don't care. I can click that button without prejudice, without a second, because I don't care whether or not you follow me. It really doesn't change my life, you know. Mm-hmm. You are probably never going to meet me in person. It's not likely to happen. Because I'm going to live my life, you know. I'm not interested in the only reason. It's weird because I don't care what people think, but on the same note, I've got people like requesting me to do things, and then I don't want to be mean, right? You know, it's like you reached out to me, Crypto 7 reached out to me, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to freaking do this, you know, and I should probably do his show too, because it's not fair to come on your show and then, you know, dodge him altogether, because, you know, it's just not, it's not. So it's weird because I used to not really care what anybody thinks. And now that I got a following, I don't want to disappoint people. So it's like an added level of stress, right? I don't want to let the people that follow me down. So it creates this perpetual cycle. And then I end up spending more of my time than I should, you know, engaging in these things, because I shouldn't. I should really be spending my time creating and building things myself. I shouldn't be spending most of my time on Twitter or engagement or talking about things that are redundancies. And it's a problem because when you explain things that are advanced, if people don't completely understand it, your brain, that pareidolia thing, your brain fills in the blanks. So, and usually it fills it in with fear. So if you don't completely understand a concept, you start doing the whatabouts. But what about, because you don't truly understand. And because you don't truly understand, you fill that area with those gaps of fear. And sometimes it's negative to fully explain how something is going to operate if people are not actually able to draw the conclusions and put it together right, if they don't understand it properly.
Yeah, that was well said. And yeah, people fear what they don't understand
And attack what they fear.
Attack what they fear. And we see that playing out in Hex, and we see that playing out with Johnny's in social media influence. It's kind of like
people get real pissed at me all the time. I don't care.
No, it's kind of, I don't know. I guess you can't the line in Mean Girls, I can't help that I'm popular.
Bunch of mean girls. They're all mean.
You can't help that you're popular. We have 134 people. Yeah. We got 134 people watching. They're not here for me. I get like maybe 50. So that says a lot to bring so many people on. So yeah, please like and subscribe. Could I get your thoughts on the Pulsechain Testnet v3? Because a lot of people are talking about that, and a lot of people want to hear about that. I guess let's just, if you have time, if not, obviously you could always, cut me off. But
what do you want? You want me to tell you when I think it's going to be out?
Yes.
I think it's sinking right now. I think you're going to get a surprise. It's out in a couple days.
Couple days.
Yeah. I don't know when mainnet's going to be, but I think the V3 could very, it's sinking right now. I mean, that's the report, is that it's being synced. Why would you sync it? Why not let people go ahead and try it out if you made it this far? Do you think they're resyncing another private testnet? I don't think so.
Okay, so you're saying a couple days.
Yeah, it's a process.
I guess so look here. So this was I totally don't believe in technical analysis, but everyone likes it, so I do it anyway. And I tell people not to trade it or anything. But this was my testnet V3 target. Like when testnet V3 launches, I was saying this back here, we're going to hit here and then mainnet. Clearly way off. This might be V3. I guess the question is, what is your testnet V3 hex price target and then your mainnet hex price target? Everybody's listening now.
Yeah. So there are so many variables. You can't just draw lines on a chart. You can't just look at the liquidity pools that are constantly shifting and moving. You can look at certain human behaviors. You can look at what's available on the market. What whales are still holding coins that could sell. I don't spend a lot of time fighting with these short-term prices because Hex is extremely undervalued. It's artificially undervalued. It's because you got a bunch of people that got a whole lot of diamonds, and the pirates are just getting here, realizing that the people got diamonds, and that's where we're at right now in this phase, because I don't think Hex should be less than $1. I think it's dumb. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that Hex is less than $1. It should very much be there. And people will say, but market cap would make it too high. They told us that at a penny too.
Yeah.
Because market cap does not mean a damn thing. It's a perception. I think Hex should be at $1. I don't see any problem with us getting there because it's only 2x over its last known all-time high. I expect we should be 15 cents within a couple months. Easy. regardless of the status of where we're at with the Pulse, we should be somewhere around 15 cents within this next couple months.
So could I
Because
press you
most of the
on?
big bags have done sold.
Yes.
And then when people realize that there's not really a better place to put your money, they're coming back.
So this was actually by where is it? By Sami. I don't know if I have it, but he what's it called? He actually just tweeted today about, all the big Hex whales. There were four of them that, were just big dumpers, and they're all gone. It was like DO1, DD8. I don't know if I can't find it in 3 seconds. I'll just.
Oh, I know some of those people by face.
Oh, really? Wow.
You gotta understand. I've been at this for a while, so their people posted their referral links. Okay, that was trained to their addresses.
Yeah.
People have taken donations. People have sold things. People have posted things to let you know who their wallets are. So
yeah. So that is interesting. We don't have to dox them, but
I won't tell you who.
But
I ain't doing that.
Yeah, but just know, Johnny.
I've revealed some of my wallet addresses too, but only the ones I wanted you to see.
There you go. But so I guess I'm very, very bullish because they're all out, and a lot of them don't have stakes for the next like 8 years, and
they made money.
They made money. They're laughing to the bank.
They made money.
Yeah,
it's hard, man. Look, if you got $1 million sitting in there and all you got to do is click a button, you're going to take it.
I would absolutely do it, and that's why staking is the only way to win.
But here's the kicker, right? So the kicker is this: how tall does that tower go? You don't know because you got off.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Sure.
You cannot see the top of this tower, guys. You can't see it. The only way to be there when you reach at the top is to stay on. So this idea of selling out your whole entire bag, which I watched a lot of you do, sell your bag at 10 cents, wait for that penny. Okay. I saw people sell their bags at 5 cents and wait for that penny. They're still waiting for that penny. They're going to come back in. There's a lot of money sitting there right now that is still thinking that, I'm going to get that penny, and it ain't going to come. And new price levels become normalized, and we just keep moving. And there are going to be people all through the process of Hex that are going to sell at one price, thinking they're going to buy back lower, and they're not going to get it. You know how I know? Because I was buying at 1 Satoshi and selling at 2. That's like buying it at a penny and selling at 2 cents. It's the same thing. And you know what happened? A whale came along, and all the money that I was selling at 2 Satoshis was gone. That's why. That's how I know. It's not like I'm telling you anything that I haven't done.
You get left behind. And
you get left behind. And since I got left behind, I'm telling you guys, don't get left behind. That's it. There's my whole motivation.
Yeah.
If I'm walking down a path and there's a branch there, I'm going to say, hey, dude, there's a branch there. Don't bump your head. There's a rock there. Don't trip over it. That's what I'm doing. It's that damn simple. And you know what? Apparently, I'm a paid shill. Guess what? Nobody's paid me nothing. I just don't want you to bump your head or trip on the rock if I can avoid it. The only thing I can, I can try. I can make an effort. But you don't listen. That ain't my problem. And I take no responsibility for it, Pay attention. That's all.
Yeah. So yeah, this is these are the wallets that are out. And then you have like a macro environment where the interest rates are coming down. You have a Bitcoin halving coming up. And within our space, there's a Pulsechain launch. I don't see much more downside, if any at all.
Here's the thing, man. We make a lot of rationalities for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what it comes down to.
Pools and
routing. It comes down to more people coming in and the available supply. That's it. It really doesn't matter about the movie. It doesn't matter about our 50 websites. It doesn't matter about our 120 or 25 personalities or whatever. It doesn't matter what's being built on Pulse. It comes down to one thing. Do people know about it? And do they have the ability to buy it? And what is the available supply versus the people coming in? That's it.
Yeah.
And the liquidity in the case is so tight, so tight. You know, if people don't start adding liquidity, we have to go up.
Yeah.
There's no other place to go. You know, if people don't set their bids and say, I'm willing to accept 10 cents for my Hex, there's nothing to stop it from jumping when somebody fat fingers buys. That's it.
And that happened with the God Whale.
Yeah.
It was over. Like one
There
guy
was
stepped
nothing,
in.
there was no resistance. There was nothing in the bid side or sell side. There was nothing there. Just doubled in a candle. Doubled in one candle. Not just doubled in a week, but doubled in one candle. You realize there's so little Hex that we can double in a candle.
Yeah.
You know, if you think about it, 64 million Hex, that's enough that's enough for 6 big buyers. What about the other 120 buyers? What happened? What about the other 500 new stakers we get per day? We should be getting 500 new stakers per day. One day we did. I think it was just a couple days ago we got 500 stakers every day.
We've been getting triple digits new holders and stakers every day, pretty much for the week, which is insane, you know, considering the we're in a bear market. But could I press you on the exact price V3 and mainnet and the duration between V3 and mainnet? Give me a good soundbite.
Let me look into my crystal skull. Oh, crystal skull, can you tell me the exact date and time is going?
That's how we got the $10 maxi top.
Killing me. Well, no, that was just a random number that I threw out there, being ridiculous, thinking that it would never hit. You know, but because again of the fact that the system has changed how things are done, there are liquidity gaps because people are moving their liquidity out and putting it in different positions, and then these things happen when the people are tapping the buttons, you know, and they don't pay attention. The other thing people don't pay attention to is decimal points. So instead of selling it in USDC, if you sell it in Ethereum, you just move the decimal point. Sometimes what people will do is they'll think they're buying it for US dollars, but it's really Ethereum because they haven't changed the toggle. So guess what? They'll pay you 0.00 or 0.01 ETH instead of 1 penny. You see how that works? So people need to pay attention to what they're freaking doing, because someone's going to capitalize on it just by having more patience than you, being able to set dormant capital there in order to catch some of these errors that may occur. But that's the other thing, right? So you don't, if you don't have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of dormant capital to just leave stuff certain places in case something happens, right? So you need to be in the best position you can be in that you know is going to be profitable. You know, trying to chase these struck by lightning scenarios or lottery ticket moments is not going to do you any good, because it may or may not happen. You may catch that lightning. But if you have a small amount of money, there is no better productive store of value than Hex. That is where you are saving. You're creating a savings account. You're saving. You're not gambling. You don't have money to gamble. Now, mind you, this again should be money that you don't need right now, not your rent money, not your car payment, not any of that stuff. This could be your beer money. This could be your loose change. It could be whatever, but you need to start the habit of saving. And that's what, you know, I try to teach people is not gambling, saving, thinking of the future, not worrying about the right now, and trying to plan for the future. Because most people don't see past their paycheck. Most people can't see past their next paycheck, right? Good. I've got some money left. Now what? Well, that money you should be able to save. You should be able to save it in some way that you know that it's going to make you more, and that you're not going to wake up one day and it be gone, right? Well, if you leave it on a centralized exchange, they can take it, right? You go leverage trade, you can get liquidated. Okay. If you put it in Hex, you know you're getting more coins each day. What they're priced at doesn't matter. It only matters the day you sell. That's when it matters. The price doesn't matter while you're staked. It may make you feel good and feel bad that the price is up and down, but really the only day that the price matters is the day you sell. And that's when you choose what price you're willing to take for it. Regardless of what the suggested retail market is, you choose what price you're willing to take. And if you don't get that price, then you don't take it. But it's money that you don't need right now. You need to be in a position where you don't have to sell. If you're in a position where you don't have to sell, you have the ability to set your prices. If you're in a position where you have to sell because you're over leveraged, you have to take whatever you can get. And being in a position where you have to take whatever you can get is not a win. That's not a win. You were forced into a position to take less than what you felt it was worth.
Yeah, those are the people. Those are the people in your comment section that are harassing you. You know, like they were stupid. You know, they invested too much, and now they're too emotional. They can't think rationally. So are we getting a price call for Testnet for, I think, Testnet V3? You said, you know,
I ain't playing your silly games, Ruru.
Okay, fine. All right, but could we get a duration estimate between V3 and mainnet? Are we able to get that?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Will be launched in a couple days, yes. I think.
Okay.
Because it's syncing now. We'll have testnet. And I expect, regardless of how well testnet goes, you're not getting launched until mid-May.
Not launched till mid-May. Is that because of the
Richard's going to launch it in mid-May, and he's going to say, I didn't say what year. No, I'm serious. You want my prediction? I'm telling you, it's mid-May. He has to get the testnet out right now to make sure that it's able to last, and then you will wait till mid-May to get your launch, because he will tell you it's mid-May. I never told you what year, so y'all get off me. Period.
That's very him.
He doesn't want to be wrong, and he wasn't wrong because he never told you what year. He's allergic to being wrong.
Yeah, it's true.
I get it. That's why I don't want to give you guys shit, because I'm allergic to being wrong too. I don't like it when people come back and go, me. I hate that shit. Makes me want to slap people and throw chairs.
Okay, so I guess you gave some that was some good. But I guess the question is about the Uniswap. Do you think there's any waiting so we could fork Uniswap V3?
No.
Why not?
I don't. I think Richard wants Pulse more than anybody else does.
Okay.
He is getting very, very impatient. You can see it. You know, he doesn't even want. You don't see Richard. Dude, Richard loves the attention. Do you think he knows every time he pokes his head out, someone's going to win Pulsechain? Don't you think he wants to come back out and parade around? He's doing it for the glory. He's missing his damn parade. He's building his damn museum, planning his victory lap right now. So he's got his museum to celebrate his victory lap. He's planning his victory party right now. He wants to get this show on the road more than anybody else. And again, I think he's going to say mid-May, and he's going to say, nope, I'm making you all wait. You're going to get an announcement. Nope, you guys are going to have to wait until mid-May, because I told you mid-May, and that's when it's coming out. So now you got to wait. So I believe it actually be done before that. Just we're going to have to wait. That's when it's going to be launched, right? He's going to say, no, that's what you get for messing with me.
I think it was very healthy for the price performance in the long run that the people that, are lettuce hands, like he says, come out, just, out themselves. And the people that want to have nefarious intentions also have outed themselves. So it's done really a lot of healthy correction, as they say. A very healthy correction. A big criticism of Richard is that he doesn't stream anymore. Do you know why that is, or do
He's
you have
busy.
any? You think it's because he's busy?
He's busy. He's working on the museum for one, and for two, he doesn't have anything to talk about. He wants to come out and gloat about what's being built, and right now it's just a lot of technical bullshit that it's coming. It's he wants to be out in front of the camera more. He wants to. There's no point in doing something for glory if you can't take your bow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure it's probably painful for him not to be taking victory laps yet. He wants to take his damn victory laps.
Yeah.
He wants that more than we want to see him. So, but he's not in control, right? So you delegate things. You delegate things to other people, and then you're at their disposal, right? The same thing I was talking about, like my fan base, right? I prefer not to give a shit what anybody thinks, but unfortunately, I've acquired a feeling of responsibility that I do care, So otherwise, I would have told you to go jump, right? So I do care. Just not to the level Richard does. Richard wants to be loved. He wants to be adored. He wants to be praised. He wants to take his victory lap, and he wants to say, "Told you."
Yeah.
He enjoys it.
So, yeah. So you're what you're saying is that like it's until there's glory, it's going to be limited public appearances, I guess.
Yep.
Because I was thinking I was a little worried that maybe it would end up becoming more of a Vitalik kind of thing where like, how he just is kind of above the community. And I think Hoskinson weighs a little better where, he connects.
You ain't getting rid of Richard. You ain't getting rid of him. He is going to be up in everybody's grill doing victory laps.
Yeah.
You think it's over? It ain't over. This is the calm before the storm. He is going to be very excited to have 4 different charts to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I'm very excited. And am I allowed to ask you if you have a preference of Pulsechain and Pulsex? I know Hex is one. Am I allowed to ask you if you have a preference?
And here's the kicker. The coin doesn't matter. Ratios and liquidity bonding are everything. The coin does. I cannot express this more, guys. The coin doesn't matter. It's all based on its liquidity and ratios. Every bit of it. It's all about its liquidity and ratios. Nothing else matters. Not the features, not to anything. Because of how it's routed, one coin affects another. It doesn't matter. It won't make a difference which one you pick. The idea, if you're really trying to participate in the ecosystem, the idea is to have some of all of it, but don't expect anything to outperform Hex. Because everything will be able to be traded for, one Hex will be worth a lot of that. That's why I was telling people before. It's like, oh, well, you were telling people this before. We were buying Hex at 10 cents. Well, be happy that you have it. Because if you staked it, you would have been earning with your T-share at that T-share rate at that time, which has also gone up. So even if you bought Hex at a cheaper price, you wouldn't get a cheaper price in the T-share.
Which is getting copied also.
Which is also getting copied. So, there's not really a lose. There's a, I think I'm down in the short term, but there really is no lose here. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. So I guess a lot of people, so is there like a percentage you'd say like 50, 25, 25, not financial advice, obviously. Would you want to give a percentage? You don't have to, obviously.
Oh, I'm just reading our little hater troll here.
Where?
Moon Lambo.
Should I block him? Your call.
Yeah.
Okay, you're blocked.
Bye, Moon Lambo. Nice knowing you. I don't even know if I've ever will meet Richard because I stay in the U.S. He wants to stay in the U.K. You know what? Richard likes variety and flashy things. I don't. I don't know what we would do. He likes to go do nightclubs. I don't. There's people there. I mean, it's really kind of funny that, the haters love to say that, all of us people are just like Richard or we're clones of Richard. Dude, I'm my own man. I run my own business. I don't give a shit what Richard does. He's a dude that made an awesome product, and he's kicking everybody's ass in crypto, and I know how to pick a winner, period. I don't have to suck up to him. I don't have to kiss his ass. I don't even got to like him. We don't have to have anything in common whatsoever. He made a good product, and nobody else in the crypto space is even fucking trying. That's what pisses me off. And then people like you have to run around and attack other people because you're mad at their success. That shows who you are, not who we are. So soak that in. Maybe stick around and learn something.
Yeah. And why would anyone want to make a good product if they could just, make a product and pull the rug?
And that's what they do. That's what they have done in the crypto space is, again, it's drawn, why paint a portrait when a stick figure will do?
Yeah.
Richard has picked an industry where he wants to run a marathon, and these lazy fuckers won't even get off the bench. That's all there's to it. He doesn't have to be perfectly in shape. He doesn't have to do anything. All he has to do is try, because these other people, they ain't even trying. They're getting away with what they've always done, and that's good enough.
Sure. I guess
that's a good spot.
Before the rude interruption, am I able to get a percentage number from you or no?
A percentage number?
Like meaning people want to know how much Hex, Pulse X. So it could be like 50 Hex, 25 Pulse, 25 Pulse X, 60, 20, 20. I don't know.
You know what I want from people?
I'm not getting it. Okay.
I'm going to tell you what I want from you people. I want you to stop looking for people to follow. Take the tools that are in front of you and learn how to make your own damn decisions. And then not only that, but once you make your own damn decision, stand by it, because it was your choice. You made it. Nobody owns the consequences of that other than you. So you have to do what's best for your situation and what you believe is possible. You shouldn't let anybody take that away from you, because it's good to dream and it's good to have ideas of what you think. But you know what you learn from? You learn from failures. You learn from making mistakes. If you're afraid to make a mistake, you'll never try. And if you don't try, guess what? Nothing ever happens. So I want people to learn to be leaders, not look for people to lead them. That's what I want from people.
All right. Fair enough. I guess you've been so generous with your time. I don't know if you have to go or if you wanted to take a few questions from the chat. Completely up to you.
We got anything that isn't trolling?
Yeah. Or else you're getting blocked, and I should mod you actually. I guess you're not in the if you make a comment.
I'm not on the YouTube channel. I'm just on StreamYard.
Yeah, but if it's a troll, then you're getting blocked. And
I just think it's interesting how people take their time of the day to try to feel important by getting their little digs in. I mean, it's got to be such a miserable existence. I mean, you got nothing better to do than try to put other people down and step on their head to make yourself feel tall. Well,
that's what happens
when
you're
said the internet's got people really comfortable with being disrespectful to other people without getting socked in the mouth for it.
Yeah, it's true. That's a great point. And it's people that have nothing better to do with their time. So it says a lot about them.
It's like, show me a troll, I'll show you somebody who's got nothing going on. It's probably in their mom and dad's basement.
Oh yeah. True.
Probably 30 years old and 3-day-old clothes in mom and dad's basement.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Oh boy, look, can Johnny comment on the state of the lawsuit against CMC? I'll tell you what, guy. Think about this, for instance. We've actually got evidence to support our case, and look at how long it's taking. It's so funny when people bring up the SEC FUD and you say, oh, you guys, you're all in trouble. Ooh. It's like, cops are interrupting a bridge club going, we heard you guys were having a loud party over here. Oh, I see you're not. Okay, we'll go now. Have a good day. I mean, it's hilarious, you know?
Yeah.
But people like to create those scare tactics and freak people out and get everybody all worked up because look, people are naturally afraid of the police. They're naturally afraid of the government, you know. They say, you know, the government should fear us. We shouldn't fear our government. Otherwise, you got a tyrannical government, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, people fear the police. They're afraid, you know, when the cop pulls them over or whatever. So the little trolleys that haven't participated in Hex whatsoever, they're feeling really down. They're feeling really bad that they missed this opportunity. So what do? They go, well, those guys that are over there bragging, we're going to go pick on them. We're going to scare them. We're going to say, ooh, the cops are coming for you. Someone's going to call the cops. Someone's going to get you. The boogeyman's coming for you. Be scared. Be scared. The boogeyman's coming for you. That's what they're doing, right? Guess what? Cops show up. Nothing's going on. They leave. It doesn't matter how bad they want us to fail. They don't have any control over it whatsoever. They want to have control over it. And the only control they have is if they can scare you into doing something stupid because you're afraid of their imaginary horribles that they're creating and framing for you because they know that you have a natural fear of authority. And that's what they're doing. There is no case. There is a voluntary inquiry. It says subpoena. It's a voluntary inquiry. They have gotten their information, and now that they have their information, they've got nowhere to go with it. Nobody was paid to promote Hex. Okay? And even if they were, people are paid to promote stuff all the time. I would think it was hilarious if people were paid to promote Hex, because if they were persecuted on that basis, how many influencers are going to be gone? All of them, because that's their whole total business model. Hex is like the only thing that doesn't have that business model. That's what's funny about it. So if Hex were to fail, they're cheering their own demise. And I know you're not asking about the SEC. Nowhere. It's not going anywhere, dude. It's in the wheels of the justice system. It could take another 5 years, forever, spinning perpetually. Market cap sites are not fair and trusted sites. They are tabloids. They list according to their standards, and they're fighting it, saying basically they're a tabloid and they can list however they want to list, right? The problem is with their false advertisement and their promotion saying that they're a fair, trusted, and accurate site, which they're not. That's where the lawsuit falls. Where, you know, you're trying to get an admission that these sites basically manipulate the numbers however they see fit. And this was never about Hex. This was about getting to the truth. This was about exposing these sites for what they are. They're listing sites, shopping lists. And I think we've done very good at bringing attention to that. And people are starting to realize that, you know, these are people's opinions and not, you know, just they're not actually accurate sites.
Yeah, it's unbelievable also just how much attention Hex has brought to like the corruption and, you know, the cesspool and
that's why they hate us.
Yeah. I would listen. I said if I were CZ, I would hate Hex too. I would, dude. He's nice putting it on 200. I'm putting Hex on 1,000, maybe. If I were CZ.
CoinRanking.com used to be one of those places that positioned us properly, and they moved us to like 1,000.
There you go. Yeah.
But what it shows you is you can look at all these different coin ranking sites, and you'll notice everything's in all different positions except for Bitcoin. And then you realize, look, if they're using coin market cap, shouldn't they all be in the same place? But they're not. So, I mean, it's kind of obvious to anybody that's looking that these coin ranking sites just put shit where they want it. I mean, it should be obvious to people, but they don't come to that conclusion. Why? that comes down to the dependency on someone else to pull data for you and give you a list. What do we try to do? Well, we try to educate people to use Etherscan and pull their own data so that they know they have their own data instead of trusting somebody else's list. And we do have howtopulse.com, true market cap, no crap. You can click the little market cap tab and it will pull up. Go ahead and do that real quick. We'll give them a little shout out. Howtopulse.com.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking of making that for my thumbnail, the guy crying into your tears cup, but like I couldn't get a good picture. Wait, whoops.
Howtopulse.com. And there's a little tab up top. I'm seeing your old screen with Hex and the
what? Oh,
with the Hex chart.
Wrong thing.
Wrong tab.
Oh. There we go.
Okay, and then you should be able to hit tools and then market cap.
Oh, the market cap.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll
scroll up. Market cap, no crap, guys. We are currently ranked.
Wow.
Roll it up.
6.
Scroll up. We're currently ranked 6, if you really want to know where we actually rank. So this is just straight data and not manipulated data. However, you can create a coin, sell one to yourself for $1, and if you got 1 million of them, you've got $1 million market cap. If you never sell a single coin, you still got $1 million market cap coin. If you sell your coin for $1, you now have went to 0. So this is why market cap does not matter. Okay. It's based on, you got supply and demand can greatly exponentially change that number. It's an arbitrary number. Just because you have $1 million market cap does not mean you can sell $1 million into it. It actually means you cannot possibly sell $1 million into it because it's not possible. Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, but if you care about market cap, howtopulse.com, you pull up tools, and here you go. We are currently ranked 6.
There you go. And
where are we at? 5.3 almost?
5. Oh, should we pull up the chart?
They probably got a chart on this too.
Oh my gosh, holy crap. This is nuts. 5.25. Wow.
Yeah, so like the more stuff you say, it's like literally people are just waiting for you to be wrong so they can say you're wrong. Wouldn't it be better if you could say I participated and I'm right? What do you actually win from calling somebody else wrong? And I told you so? Does that make you any money? No. How do you benefit from that exactly? You feel a little better about yourself? Dude, you need some new hobbies. If you're like literally waiting around for someone else who's out here doing stuff to be wrong, you need to rethink your life, right? And I don't like to put myself in positions where I can make statements that are going to turn out to be wrong because there's always some little trolley that's got to feel his superiority by saying, oh, but you got this thing wrong. It's funny.
Yeah. And great point by Humberto.
Yeah.
And Ben Dubard, you guys check him out. He's got great stuff. The Oracle of Hexaco. I coined that in yesterday's stream because I said you're the Oracle because you said those waiting for a penny are going to buy it at a nickel, and playing out in real time. And obviously we have the privilege.
Oh, I said a lot of stuff. Did you see my little gift a long time ago? I did a balloon where the balloon blew up and I popped it and there was a hex left and the balloon said DeFi on it.
I did see that.
One. Yeah, that was year 1. So, and Richard shared it and he said profit because that's what happened. DeFi blew up. And the only thing left standing was Hex.
Yeah. There you go. And I guess one more question, because this is a good question. You think he'll do an unannounced launch? That is a good question. So
I would.
Why?
Would. Because Knowing what I know and watching all the people doing some of the degen stuff that they've been doing, I would stealth launch that sucker and laugh at you all. Seriously. I would stealth launch that sucker. Who's that going to screw? That's just going to screw the people that are trying to game the system. Why are you supposed to be in Hex? You're supposed to be in Hex because you're going to start saving and stop gaming the system. You stop doing these degen things. You stop trying to jump from one thing to another to another. That's not the whole premises of Hex to begin with. The idea is to save value over time, right? If you're doing this other degen stuff, there's no way he's going to reward that behavior. The whole point of this is to reprogram your behavior and think for the future and not try to do these short-term degen shit, you know?
Yeah, so I actually thought like that, but then it occurred to me that maybe it's a good idea to announce, because if he announces, then people buy it up because they want a copy, right? So you're going to get a massive pump. Once Pulsechain launches,
what's the point of a massive pump if it just dumps again anyway? And if you're staked, you're not going to get to sell that pump anyway.
Well,
so who does that actually reward? That just rewards the short-term players again. Isn't Hex designed to reward the long-term players?
But can't you say that the pump and the dump will still be better than no pump?
No.
I mean,
I would rather see a straight, steady gain and people using it as it's supposed to be used and it gaining over time than these quick whips where people are jumping in and out and getting ripsawed.
No,
because
but I'm sorry.
When these prices jump, you've got these people that are emotional and you know, they end up making mistakes. I actually like it better if people are rewarded and incentivized along a period of time. We get a slow rise than a lot of this.
But once
it's short-term thinking. He's not going to reward short-term thinking. Everyone's like, well, in a pump. What? So then I can dump. In a pump, so I can dump. That's what they're thinking. You're not going to reward that.
But if there's no announcement, right, then once Pulsechain launches, the incentive to buy Hex, because of the doubling, it's gone. So people won't buy Hex. They might just go straight from stable coins into.
What is the incentive of buying Hex before any of this existed when we went up to 50 cents?
Well, that'll always be there. But
exactly. And it will always improve too because more users will come in.
Yeah.
The incentive of Hex is to be able to earn your own yield without use of a centralized exchange or platform and be self-sovereign and control of your own money and having a productive store of value. That's the incentive of Hex. It's not because some other coin is going to pump your bag. Where it does pump your bag, again, that pump doesn't matter because anybody that buys Pulse is going to pump Hex because of the ratio.
Oh, that's true. So
that doesn't matter.
Okay,
the short-term pump thing.
I like what you said there. Yeah,
it's like Big Payday was a big hype cycle, right?
Yeah.
Big Payday was a big hype cycle. Guess what? My Big Payday bonuses are this big. My yield is this big, as a comparison to the Big Payday bonus was one year's worth of yield. It isn't that big of a deal. It wasn't that big of a deal, but it was a great marketing thing.
So I guess that was actually my other question. So because you're saying because the price will pump anyway, even if people don't buy Hex, they buy Pulse.
Pumps anyway.
That's a good answer. But the marketing, meaning the best marketing, as much as I love TikTok, I'm crazy about TikTok. The best marketing is the green candles.
Green candles.
So wouldn't the Pulsechain launch announcement be a good marketing?
Everybody is going to buy the green candles. And everybody's going to buy the new shiny object. The influencers are going to look. So this is the part I don't want to talk about. The people that absolutely hate Hex think they can participate in Pulse and not Hex. By participating in Pulse, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Hex is going to pump because they participate in Pulse. And they don't want to hear that. They want to think that there's not going to be any correlation between the two because they have already staked their reputation on bashing Hex Which, I mean, look, they had the best angle. Everything in crypto fails. I mean, you could have pointed at 99 different other things and said it was going to fail and been right and go, I told you so.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's easy to be right. And in a bull market, guess what? It's like a shotgun that, has like a blast radius and like this. You can't miss those clay pigeons when you're shooting in a bull market. You can throw a dart, hit any damn token, and it's going to pump. It doesn't mean it's a good product. It just means whatever it's paired with, its ratio's changed, So, yeah.
But it is funny how they pointed to every piece of garbage, but the one thing that, was actually something substantive and worthwhile,
They didn't
completely
point at
shunned.
every other piece of garbage. There was Celsius, Luna, BlockFi,
Yeah.
Babel, Voyager, what other, I had a hater attack me the other day and say, I'm naive. I'm right, Richard's little bitch. I'm naive. Oh, yeah? How come I didn't lose any money on Celsius, Luna, BlockFi, Voyager, Babel, Three Arrows Capital, whatever? How come I didn't lose any money on any of that? How come I haven't lost a single coin? I'm naive.
Yeah.
How come I'm not promoting shit that went to zero? I'm naive. Okay. Tell me about it, buddy.
People are just such losers. Like, dude, call me Richard's little bitch, dude. Like, look at the people that got in. Like, they've benefited far more from Richard than Richard benefited from them. It's like, dude, like, it's worked out pretty well, okay?
Right now. Dude, that's exactly it. You know what? Michael Saylor bought Bitcoin at $30,000. Think about that. Okay, look. This is important here. This is important. Perception of value, guys. Perception of values, because you gotta grasp this concept. Your position. Think about this. Michael Saylor started promoting Bitcoin when it was $30,000. Richard got Bitcoin for free, 50 of them, every block, when they were like 50 cents. Think about that. Richard held them because he was in a position to hold them. Now, can you imagine your Hex that you got for pennies being worth $30,000 when someone finally buys it? Because that was the situation that Richard was in. Okay. Now, if you think about it, that sounds ridiculous. And if you were Richard, would you have ever imagined selling one of those 50 free Bitcoin that you got for that one block for $30,000? Doesn't that seem a little bit ludicrous to you that somebody would pay that? Guess what? That's where you're at in Hex right now. You probably, you're having trouble imagining a dollar. What about $30,000? What doesn't Hex have that Bitcoin has? What features does Hex have that Bitcoin doesn't? See, because when Bitcoin first started out, anybody could, that's when it was really popular, was because anybody could operate it, anybody could participate. Where it started getting crunched down was the fact that it got more and more centralized, that you had to buy certain mining equipment. You had to only buy those certain mining equipment from certain companies. And now later, the hash rate is owned by two different companies. So really, in Bitcoin, you're not a participant anymore. You're just a consumer because you can't even earn the coins. All you can do is buy them.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin has sell pressure that Hex doesn't. Somi pulled it up. $200 million worth of sell pressure per month. Bitcoin, they have to sell $200 million worth of Bitcoin just to keep the price where it is. How much Hex has to be sold? Has to be sold to pay power bills. Doesn't have to be sold at all. There's no cost unless you're ending stake, right? Or you're wanting to take out profit, but you're not forced to sell it just to pay for power bills. You're not upgrading equipment. You're not paying for any facilities. You're not doing that. Bitcoin has done what it's done with all of this sell pressure every month. And Hex doesn't have the sell pressure. You know what the problem with Hex is? You know what the problem with Hex is?
I don't know. It doesn't sound like there's any. Yeah.
They don't understand about it and they don't know about it. That's the
Yeah.
problem with Hex. It's not accessible. Accessibility, visibility, affordability, and availability. The reason Doge pumped is because they launched it on everybody's app, and those apps were used, and it was one click for people to buy the little doggy coin. That's why. If it's one click button to buy Hex, it's over. It's over.
Yeah, no. And
then the TikToks really do count because you can say, click this button and get your Hex. The problem is right now, it's difficult, right?
yeah.
Why are things valuable? Why are things really, really valuable? Because it's difficult for people to get. Right now, it's really difficult for them to get. So you're actually climbing the mountain, picking the fruit, coming down the mountain, and giving it away to people for pennies.
Yeah.
It's not worth pennies. It's only worth pennies because that's what people are willing to sell it for right now. What its value is will be determined over time.
Yeah, and that is the opportunity, right? That is the opportunity, the inaccessibility. And that's why Michael Saylor was buying big at $10 Bitcoin, said that it was going to die like online gambling.
Yeah.
These people are
And
always late. Institutions
perception
are always
of value
late.
too. And you will not value it because look, you're in the point of abundance where you're like, oh, I got plenty of these, man. I got plenty of them right here. Oh, you want a diamond? I got plenty of these here. Here, let me just hand a few out to you. You want some? You want some? Here, this way? This way?
Oh,
Here,
yeah. Oh, baby.
So I mean that you're in the point of abundance, right? You know, if you got a full, you know, we talked about it earlier. You'll have to run it back, but we talked about having a bag of Starbursts, and as you start handing them out, and it gets less and less, it gets harder and harder, right, for you to part with them, right? And right now we got people that had really large bags, and they have unit bias because they have an abundance. They're like, whatever, I can spare $1 million. I've got 100 million. I can spare $1 million of these. Well, then when they're down to $1 million, it's like, okay, maybe I'll spare 100,000. Then when they're down to 100,000, then it's maybe I'll be able to spare 10,000, right? And as it gets tighter and tighter and tighter, you know, and that's what happens. You can't have people with 100 million coins. There's nobody with 100 million Bitcoin because there's not even going to be 100 million Bitcoin, right? Michael Saylor has like under 200,000. He's got like 134,000 Bitcoin or something like that, right? Nobody has 1 million Bitcoin except for Satoshi. Why? Because he never sold it. It's just sitting there. That's the only reason. Nobody else has 1 million Bitcoin. Why? Because they sold it. They had plenty. They sold it all on the way. They sold it 30 cents. They sold it $1. They sold it at $10. They sold it $100. They sold it $1,500. You know, they sold it $15,000. Guess what? It's still up. Still up from $15,000. Every one of those sales was profitable, but how much?
Well said. Well said.
If you told somebody 10 years ago that Bitcoin was going to be $50,000 or even $20,000, even the truest of true believers would have laughed at you. They would have said $1 trillion market cap. It's not possible. Who wants this thing? I get it for free. See, that's part of it too. You get it for free. You get it for free, so you don't value it. It doesn't cost you anything. People don't understand that. Well, it doesn't take work to get it. I don't understand. I'm not paying a bill. I don't understand. What it means is you're freaking lucky. You're getting something good for free, and you don't appreciate it because you're getting it for free. That's the problem. It's going to take a mental shift for people to really, really grasp what's going on here.
I think a price shift also.
Well, the price shift to do it too. I mean, look, you know, more people are going to buy Hex at $1 than are interested in buying it at 10 cents. Yeah. More people are going to buy Hex at $10. Hex is going to hit like $10 at some time, and people are going to be like, oh my God, no. And then it's going to dump 90% down to $1. And then everyone's going, oh, it sucks. It's a big scam. And everybody's going to forget that we were ever pennies.
Yeah.
Do you remember being in Satoshis? No.
I
Nobody
wasn't there.
remembers being in Satoshis, do you? Do you remember 60-cent T-shares? 60-cent T-shares were paying 60 cents a day here recently.
That's
You know,
crazy.
one T-share at 60 cents was paying 60 cents every day.
Wow.
See, people forget that. People forget that because new prices become normalized. They don't get there overnight. They get there because the new people are at the new situation, the new point of time.
And guess what I did? You said that, and I made a TikTok about that. Actually, oh, shout out to this girl, by the way. She posted this yesterday, 443.6 thousand, which is awesome. But are you able to, did I pick the right window? Yeah, right here. I TikTok that. I asked her permission.
Hey, if it makes you happy.
It's gonna go.
The thing is, man, I don't want to freaking, it's like I just keep popping up everywhere. I'm like the Stan Lee of Hex, man. I do like my cameo appearances. I'm okay with the Stan Lee thing. I don't, and that was another thing, man. It just ticked me off the other day. I got into spaces, and I don't even do spaces. I don't like to do the freaking spaces because it's a bunch of people just. I don't like the. I just don't. I'm not all that social.
Yeah.
So guy says, well, I know you like the spotlight, Johnny, but I was asking the question, the tangent. I'm like, screw you, dude. I like the spotlight. You're lucky I'm even freaking in this room. I never do freaking Twitter spaces. I got people texting me all the time, come join my Twitter space. No. The answer is no. I'm just going to go ahead and do this right now. You will never see my ass in another Twitter space. Okay. I don't got time to screw with people in Twitter spaces. You get these arrogant idiots that are never going to benefit anybody.
Yeah.
That are just going to try to troll and control the conversation to make themselves feel important because they lack significance.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't lack significance. I like me. I'm fine with me. I don't need their approval. I don't need their permission.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. If they don't want to learn, I ain't got time to teach them.
No, your engagement is low liquidity. So it's like Hex, not easy to find. And that's why when we get engagement from you, it drives the price up. And we got 164 watching. So please like and subscribe.
And my tolerance level is very short fused. I mean, I can't. When I get people that think they're smart, and they're just
dangerous.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't because you can't reach them. You've got one mouth and two ears. There's a reason for that. You should listen twice as much as you talk. And that's the problem with most people is they're more interested in being heard than being right, I guess.
Yeah, that's the problem. The smart people understand that and they don't talk that much. And then you have all the idiots who should be who shouldn't be talking. They don't understand that and they talk the most. So I guess the last question is before we end this, and I want to thank you so much, are you going to be at Hexpo Miami?
No.
What?
Oh no, I told people I'm not going anywhere till 2025. Stick around. You have to survive. If you want to see me, you're going to have to stick around to 2025. If you don't survive, you probably won't see me.
I bought the ticket. I want my refund now. No, I'm kidding. But
Maddie will probably try to kidnap my ass on the way through.
Yeah. So for anyone thinking that Johnny's chasing engagement,
it's 19 hours to Florida, man. It's like
flight.
It's a straight shot, straight down 94, but
fly.
No. Why am I gonna? What's the point? I don't know. It's again, fun. Like when I go to conventions and trade shows, it's usually because I'm making money. That's been my job for a long time, right?
Yeah.
I go to convention and trade show. I go there to work and I go there to make money, right? I'm not used to taking vacations. I'm not used to traveling unless it's for the purpose of making money. So I've gone to a couple Hex events, which is actually completely unusual for me to do any kind of thing where it's not business related. So to make an appearance again, because people wanted me to. Like the first Hex conference, I didn't go to. The second one in Las Vegas, I went to because since I didn't go to the first one, everybody lit me up and said, "Oh man, I really want to meet you." And I had like 50 people in my thing, and I said, "All right, fine, I'll buy a ticket." And and I went as a result of peer pressure, which is funny because I don't give in to peer pressure, So it's like it's weird, right? So I used to only have to worry about me because look, the thing is, people think they're being a leader because they get followers. If you're beholden to your followers, you're no longer leading. You're now doing what your audience wants you to do, and that's not leading.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a position where I'm doing what other people want me to do. I should be able to do what I want to do. And putting myself in this position where it's kind of like a pseudo celebrity sort of thing, people do want you to act and behave a certain way, and they want you to go to events, and they want to be able to meet you, and they want to be able to share their thoughts and stuff, So I thought about like having my own meetup for the people that wanted to come visit me, because I'm not doing these public events, And you got to watch it too, man, because it's like the more demand you get, I guess the more paranoid you get too,
Yeah. Because everyone wants something out of you. That was what Derek Jeter said in the documentary. Everybody.
Yeah, everybody wants something out of you,
He said
like,
the first thing. He said the first
I get
thing.
a lot of requests for shows. Why?
Yeah.
Because I draw in viewership.
Yeah.
And that's not me being like cocky about it. It's just because people know that it's a fact, and that's why I get the request. It makes you think. It's like, do these people even like me? Or are they doing it for engagement? Are they doing it for the knowledge? Should I do it? Is it helpful to other people, or is this just help promote somebody? And we've had it in the past, where people have done like a 360, right? You go on their shows, and then the next thing you know, they're using their viewership that they now gained because and they're using it in a different way. So are you helping people go in another way because you promote other people by being on their shows? It's like an endorsement.
Yeah.
No,
it's interesting because Derek Jeter said in the documentary, and I grew up a Yankee fan, and he said the first thing I thought when people come up to me is like, what do they want? And that's kind of true when you become big. And yeah, I mean, that's why there are a lot of people that they're reluctant to engage, especially with new influencers, because it's like what are they going to do? Are they going to turn on you and like completely take what you've given them and use it for the wrong reasons? And that's why I take this I guess blessing that you gave me with a lot of trepidation, and that there is a big responsibility to take care of, and I guess hopefully I could prove that over time that it was worth your while. I would want to say also that I know it's not easy for you to get out there, but it makes a huge difference, and I'm sure it has changed a lot of people's lives. The things that you've said, when they were scared because of whatever, and they were maybe going to get suckered into selling early or doing something stupid. You just explaining why Hex has a future and things like that. It's probably made a huge difference in people's lives. So I hope that could help you make.
Sometimes I don't see it on chain, man. Sometimes when I'm looking on chain, I look at the stuff that happens on chain. And I'm just like, oh my God. It's like, am I even making a difference? Am I really, am I helping? I mean, because look, when you put yourself out there and you make predictions and stuff, you just put yourself in a position where people are going to critique you. I mean, I don't need anybody's critique. I don't need anybody's approval, acceptance, whatever. It's like, why do I do this to myself? Because really all I'm doing is putting myself in a position. If you make a price call, you make it wrong. You got 10 people to go, you got it wrong. Well, you didn't even give one. You didn't even give a price prediction. So why do you get to pick on me about mine, right? You know, it's just other people. It's like I want more people to act and less people to follow. You know, I want people to do their own thing. And like the reason I'm here is because, you know, I know you're out there trying. You're making an effort, you know. Where your efforts take you and what you do with them in the future, I don't have control over that, you know.
Yeah.
But I understand that you're trying. You're on. We're correlated in our positions right now as to get spread awareness of Hex. You know, at some point we might uncorrelate, you know, and go off some different paths. But right now we're on the same path.
Are you saying you're going to go to Pulse fill in the blank?
Well, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm not. I would like to go sit on a beach with my toes in the sand where it's warm and not freezing cold.
Hey, Miami's a good place.
Well, I'm sure that's great, but you know,
all right.
You know, it costs money to do that. Johnny ain't retired yet.
Yeah.
I still got a business to run. I still got bills to pay.
Yeah, neither am I.
I'm not. I pushed my fortune off into the future because I wasn't ready.
There you go.
I wasn't ready.
So
I didn't want to screw it up. I wasn't ready.
Ready or not, it's coming for you. That
money's coming. Double up for a couple years. We'll let it double up. It's okay.
All right, Johnny. Thank you so much for coming on and being so generous with your time. It makes a huge difference. The problem is the people that you know are the loudest are the people that, you know, are the worst. The worst people are the loudest, but there are a lot for every person out there that's, you know, trolling.
Well, I'm pretty loud, man. That's part of the problem.
But you don't want to be. You don't want to be. But the people that are out that you've made a good impact on, they're probably not as loud. But for every bad person, there's probably like 10 good ones. So thank you so much, and you could leave us off with closing thoughts if you want. Thank you so much.
Always thoughts. There's so much, man. We could roll this for forever, and that's the problem. So I'm just gonna say, hey, look, everybody, be your own leader. Do not keep looking around for people to follow, and you won't be misled. It's okay to engage in content. It's okay to watch everybody else, you know, and see what's going on and make your own decisions. But don't look for a leader. Be the leader. Be the leader so you don't get led off a cliff. Okay? Take care.
All right, guys. There you have it. We're going to make a TikTok out of that.